Thank you for watching News Echoes on international issues. My name is Shegun Johnson, and I'm glad you're watching. Today, we have so many good things to discuss, but I'm not the only one in the studio. We have from Toronto, Sir George. Yes, hello, Sir George.
Good morning,
Welcome
Dr.
to the
Johnson
program.
and viewers from around the world. Welcome to our newscast today.
Yeah.
What in the world is happening around the world? Stay tuned that you're going to be listening to all of it.
All of it. Commercial city of Nigeria is our own sister. Bidi, you're welcome to the program. Bidi, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for having me once again on the show. Our viewers all around the world, thanks for joining us. Let's do it again, like always.
Like always. And in faraway Milan, as usual, Mark Milan in Milan is Mark. Massive Mark, you're welcome to the program.
You're muted, Mark.
We need to hear you, Mark. We need to hear you, Mark. Mark, are you with us?
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
The people around the world, they want to hear your voice. Things are happening in Italy, isn't it? Yeah, I know there's an upgrade in the system. We've been told an upgrade in the system, and at a time like this, the system, when you are just trying to get used to a new system, then things may go haywire. Part of the challenges of digital technology. We're still to hear you all the same, but looks like we will go ahead with the show. Yes, thank you very much, Sir George. There is a new wave, just like the Arab Spring, happening Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, and this is where we find ourselves. We thought the Mali coup was out of place. Then we had the Burkina Faso and the Guinean coup, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, we had of the Nigerian coup, and of course, not to talk of the Sudanese coup. Now it's moving down south of Sahara from Niger straight to Gabon. One notable thing is that it is francophone in nature. Is there a new awakening that we could liken to that of the Arab Spring, Sir George?
Well, it is almost like it, and it smells like it, tastes like it, and I can consider it to be it. So that's what you're seeing, because it's just the impunity of the political leaders that has gotten to the throat of the people, and people are tired of being tired. And what you're seeing now is a result of years of abuse of power, years of abuse of resources. And in the past, it was so easy to hide things from people. But today, on-time news is right here in the palm of your hands. So people are knowing everything that is happening on time. And that is the reason why, like the past election in Nigeria, in the past, they could rig the election, tell you whatever story, and you believe it. But these days, because of the on-time news, they were unable to continue with the status quo. And that is the reason why, up until today, people are still waiting for the judicial, eyes on the judicial. But what you're seeing among within the African countries is they have abused the positions that were being entrusted, they were being entrusted to.
Yeah.
And now people are just saying, listen, we can just have one country or one family rule our nation for 50-something years, and you want to manipulate it again in order to give you another 21 years or the 14 plus the 42 of your father. Thus far, no further. That's why people are tired. You see that every time you see this coup take place, the general masses will be rejoicing because they have no power over the government. But now when the military brings checks and balances and say, you can't continue to do this, stop being a puppet to these neo-colonial masters. Enough is enough. We want equitability, we want fairness and justice when it comes to sharing of the natural resources and the natural wealth. Look at Gabon, only less than 3 million people, one family controlling the oil, the manganese, and everything else that they have. Only one family. And then people are just happy now because now finally, if you hand us democracy and don't give us the tools to control the democracy, and we're doing what you call, recycling of government among the, the elites.
The inner circle.
The inner circle, that's all it is. This is just what happened to Nigeria. And Lacron is just the same thing. Oh, it is my turn. Oh, we discussed this on the table.
On the table, the inner circle table.
You must, I must get in. And that is the reason why Nigeria, be careful. Tinubu, be very, very careful. Because nobody forgets.
This is very interesting because there is an awakening happening. Bidi, unfortunately, the leaders, political leaders within the African countries and outside of African countries, the leaders within ECOWAS and the African Union, probably the United Nations, they are turning all these coups upside down, saying it is anti-democratic. And that is the lie that is there. There was no democracy when people decide to rig election blatantly. That wasn't democracy. So when people now say until the democratically elected person is put back in power, that is an anathema. That is the opposition of what is happening. In actual fact, all these coups are correcting the ills of the society, ill-gotten wealth, as we've been shown in Gabon and in Niger, thousands and millions of dollars being shown to the rest of the world. And yet people in AU and ECOWAS, they said that this is against democracy. Billy, maybe you want to add one or two things on this one. This thing is not against democracy. It's against those who are against democracy.
Dr. Shego, what do you expect them to say? And what kind of reaction do you expect from them?
We expect the truth.
They've used the word democracy to enslave Africans for years. And if you look at what is happening in Africa now, it's actually a revolution that is working. And I pray that this continue and we'll be able to sustain it. And we can only sustain this if African youth will stand and unite to fight this, because it's not going to be easy. If you look at the history of what has been happening, for the space of 5 years, there has been a coup in 7 countries in Africa. And what is anti-democracy about this? It is a bloodless coup. What happened in Niger? What happened in Gabon? It is a bloodless coup. There is no blood. They say Africa is a sovereign, most of all these countries, they are sovereign country. Sovereignty to people, but people of Africa don't have this sovereignty. So what is anti-democracy there? They are the people who have been anti-humans in Africa. The Western world have used few Africans to do what I call anti-human to Africans. And Africans are waking up. They're saying no. And it is very, very ashamed that we don't even have bodies. And I am calling on African youth to come up with their own body, because ECOWAS and EAU has actually fed Africans. Look at what happened in Gabon. The first thing they could do is to suspend Gabon. Is that how a leader works?
No. I think AU has got it all. There will soon be zero. There will soon be zero member of AU. The way they deplete themselves. Massive Mark. When you look at these things, it appears democracy is only defined by the Western world and given to African countries. When these people are stealing votes and putting themselves there, third term, fourth term, when they are not in the constitution, they did not see anything anti-democratic in all of those. All of a sudden, when those who are in favor of Western interests are no longer there, then they start saying, we want democracy. Is democracy faulty? Is democracy a rogue? Is democracy anti-Africans? Help me, Massive Man.
You said it all, Dr. Shegun. Sorry, once again, I say good morning to you all. Sorry for these little things that we go through with technology. It's a new dawn in Africa, Dr. Shegun, and we're excited. We're excited because all of a sudden eyes are opening, even though with a lot of pain, eyes are opening. Africans are realizing themselves. At last, we are beginning to understand that we are human and we're on this earth also like every other human being. So yes, we are seeing what is happening in Congo, Gabon, and all the countries around. Yes, Dr. Shegun, democracy so far has not helped Africa, Dr. Shegun. We have to be honest. I think
no. I think it is democracy as defined by the Western world and by the ruling class.
That's it, Dr. Shegun. You see, the West brought this thing to us, but they forgot that we are two different people altogether. These two ends are different totally. Africa has a way of doing things. Africa has how we reason, how we interrelate, how we do all our things, and they have their ways. Now, this works very well for them, Dr. Shegun. You live in the West, and you know that a lot of them understand this whole structure, democracy. You know, that's why it's not a problem. On election day, they vote. It's all very, it goes smooth here. But Africa doesn't understand this much. So the mistake we did is imbibing this culture, and now it has harmed us. We have gone through a lot of pain. Okay. No. What I want to say is we imbibed the culture. So maybe we should have brought in, we looked at it very well and restructured it in a way that it will favor us as a continent, you know, and not carrying that totality of the white man's democracy into our land. And now look at what has happened.
Let me see whether our colleagues will agree with you. BD there, as a judge.
I totally disagree with you. See,
okay.
What they brought to us, democracy, is actually democracy. They run the democracy, but the way it's being run in Africa is not the way it's being run in their own country. In their country, democracy is democracy. Governments of the people, for the people, and by the people. And that's what they practice. And that is how the democracy is explained. But in Africa, it's not the government of the people, for the people. It's government of few against the people. And for the few, that is what is it in Africa. So we don't need a different, we need to practice that democracy, how it's been practiced. You know, in the Western world, the people, the voice of the people matters.
You see, it's not going to be easy, BD, because you have to have a level of enlightenment and education to practice democracy the way it is in the world.
But enlightenment is different from dishonesty. I mean,
exactly.
But let us ask a judge.
You know why? So, excuse me. Let me say. You know why it will not? Because they still have interest in Africa. If they allow us, do you understand? And when there is election malpractice, they speak up against it, but they use few of our people for their own benefit. That is why it looks like the democracy is not working in Africa.
Okay, Judge.
Well, you know, one thing that we do not understand is because Africa is rich in minerals, and most of these things that we have, because of that neo-colonial mindset, the way they used to take it by force, they don't care whether you like it or not. They discover these minerals, they use it to their own advantage, and now all of a sudden they wouldn't want you to be a producing country. They want to make you just nothing but a consumer nations. That's what it is. They will take your raw materials, take it to their own country, manufacture it, bring it back, you know, with 10 times the amount of money, and you're paying for it. And part of the reason is Mark is correct, Biddy is correct. And when you think about the whole system as it is, the major problem they have is the infiltration of this Western world into our so-called democracy. Why is it that every time a government is elected in, they will also come against that government through the opposition? You see it happening again and again and again, divide and conquer. Now, I know opposition has their own functions, to watch over what the current government is doing and bring checks and balances. But what they do mostly is they influence this opposition. So there is no peace within the two arms of the government, the GOP, the government in power, and then the opposition. So what we are seeing here is the manipulation has gone too far, because they only use it, and they will prefer somebody with skeletons in their closet to be the ruler. Because when they know that you got a lot of skeletons in your closet, they can manipulate you. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. I can guarantee you, Britain, they are so much aware of all the truth concerning our current president. And America, they do know about it too. And would they want to force him out? No. When they release the truth that they know, Nigeria will be on fire and that president will step down. But they will never.
Okay, Sir George, I have a question for you. Why is it that a sitting president, I'm talking of Donald Trump, lost election, he disagreed, but they sent him away based on honest democracy? That if you think they have lied on you, cheated on you, go to the court. He went to court over 300 times. The court said, no, you lost. Why can't that one happen in Nigeria or African countries? Question for you, sir.
Because we are not practicing what you call democracy. What we are practicing is plutocratistocracy. Combine it together. Plutocratistocracy. A few elites that have a lot of money, but yet they are unable to govern the country efficiently. But because they have the money, and among that little cycle, they keep on recycling government among themselves. That's what you are seeing. And they have the impunity. Look at what's happened in Nigeria. Tell me, if there were, it was in certain countries, even in Africa, and the government decide, the elected members decide to give themselves a fat increase and raise while everybody else is suffering, and they have the impunity to go ahead and do it because we're working so hard. What about everybody else? You're taking the money that belongs to the people, you're fattening, you're becoming political fat cats. That's what we're seeing. So enough is enough, and I am hoping that what is going on in Africa today, that will be a rude awakening that will make everybody to wake up and stop allowing this nonsense from continuing, because people are dying daily. Look at brain drain that is taking place. It's simply because of this. Doctors cannot practice in Nigeria because they're not getting paid enough. Therefore, they go abroad, to use their own. There was a time when other countries used to come to Nigeria for medical treatment.
That's correct.
Today, it's no longer that way.
Okay.
Let me add to the Gabon situation. Let's take note that it's not complete mutiny as such. The man that has become the transition president is still a cousin to Ali Bongo. He used to be the bodyguard of Ali Bongo's late father, and he has been there also in that presidential arrangement. So the man there now, Olikwe, I think his name is
yes, Olikwe. But it starts from somewhere. It has to start from somewhere. The Bongo family is no longer there. Simple.
See what you're doing. Let me tell you, you're buying into this nonsense from the Western world, because what they're doing now is they're trying to bring that little thing there. Let me tell you,
confusion.
It's people that are close to you that know that you are abusing the power, and they say no, it's not going to be in one family. how they want to do
No. I'm just putting out the fact. It's not like I'm on anybody's
well,
side.
because we know that. We know that.
Yes.
We know that he used to be a bodyguard. We know whether he is in the same extended family or not. They are stopping something that needed to be stopped.
And exposing the corruption that has been there.
Corruption.
BD, you wanted to say something.
See, the problem of Africa, West is actually the problem of Africa. I'm telling you, look at what is happening now. The problem, the queue in Niger, the queue in Gabon now, none of them, or not even the African institution, ECOWAS and AU, that are interested to listen to people of Niger or people of Gabon. But what they are doing is now this military system of government they say they don't want in place is what they are using. They want to use force to install the people want to rule them. They don't even care about how the people feels. And that this thing, like Sir George said, has been going on just because they want to keep exploiting the African nations. Now, like I said, this is the time that African youth should come up and form their own group, because there's going to be, because this thing is like now, like Sir George said about what massive mind. So somebody has to start it. Do you understand?
BD, I have a question.
Give you a tip
I have a
for you
question
to
for
take
you,
up.
BD. Some people have been saying this coup can never happen in Nigeria because Nigeria has so many generals, current generals, retired generals who have partaken in the loot of Nigeria. Wike has told us how generals have come to siphon oil illegally. Many generals have houses in Aso, around Aso Rock, high choices of Kano, Kaduna, and Lagos. There are too many generals who will oppose a coup. And because of the importance of naked power in taking over government, that coup can never happen in Nigeria. The army is well fed. What do you say?
What the person that's telling you this thing might be 75% correct. I'm telling you, because if you look at what is happening, when the last service chief left, you saw what was given to them. And just yesterday, the army OSC called all the Nigerian army and warned them that if you're not going to be loyal to President Tinubu, that you should resign. Now, it brings another question on the table. The loyalty of every army member in Nigeria is not supposed to be to an individual. It's supposed to be to the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's supposed to be to the sovereignty of Nigeria. But it's not what we are seeing. Because of what? Because they have overeaten. What they are interested in is
they are part of the system, with the welfare system.
Exactly. That's what they are saying. Look at what is happening in Look at what I know. Look at what is happening in Rwanda. Look at what is happening in Cameroon. They've changed the army chiefs because they want to protect their evil doing and keep doing it. Do you understand?
What we are probably we are studying, if it's going to happen in Nigeria, it will not come from the army structure, the federal government army structure. Yeah, that's what
it will come from where?
Yes, it's going to come from a very different arrangement, but still in that same
like NSAS.
Yes, in that same space.
You saw when the NSAS happened. Naked power stopped NSAS. You saw it.
Take note that some generals in Nigeria that are not service chief, are not in service now, but are very good at coming up with mutiny. Yes, some generals.
Let's
hear Sir George.
Okay, listen to this. What you fail to understand when we're talking about the youth. In 1966, when things went haywire in Nigeria, it was the youth who did it. It wasn't the older generals and all those people. It was a young group of people who say enough is enough, and they did it. So when we are saying the youth, you're not looking at the general. The generals have, military fat cats, all of them, because they are well taken care of and their families. And let me tell you, this oil bunkering that we're talking about, the military is doing, is what they use to take care of themselves. They fly off to China to all parts of the world to do, just what kind of education do you want? We'll pay for it. What do you want us to do? I was in Nigeria one time. A general just said, oh, go to the airport. You don't have to. I was trying to buy my ticket. He said, don't worry about that. Go to the airport. I've already called. And I went to the airport thinking, okay, maybe that they're going to give me a discount. No, they say I mentioned his name. He said he's already called us. Don't worry. Get on the flight. So later on, I was asking. He started laughing. He said, don't worry. It's okay. It's all good.
We had you covered.
I'm telling you, so this is what we are talking about here. When it will go in Nigeria, it will not be the generals that are well taken care of. You will see the young ones come out, hijack the government, and retire all those people, all those military fat cats. And that's what will happen if we are not careful in this country.
Okay. One of our viewers said, I've not been giving a BD enough time to speak. Okari Sharp, I said, why is Dr. Shegun shutting up the lady? The lady, you have the floor.
No, wait. Can I respond to my brother? My brother is such a fantastic brother. You know why? They want the beauty now.
Okay, BD, you have the floor.
Sir George, see, let me tell you. You see, the thing is that most of you are not in Nigeria. You people don't understand how this thing works. Nigerian youth are one of the vibrant and strong people who want to make a change in this country within a second. But you know what the government is doing? They've taken away their courage, their boldness. They've impoverished them. That's if you look at any government entourage, I'm telling you, about 75% of them are youths. And what they do is they give them stipend, they give them car, they give them house, they try to give them things, they make them feel that they are comfortable. But my dear, at the expiration of that job, that is when they will realize that they have no job. You understand? So what Nigerian government is doing, see, the queue in Nigeria, let me tell you for what you don't understand. This thing that happened in Niger was not supposed to happen in Nigeria. But they had a tip-off of it, and they stopped it with everything in them. You people don't know the kind of people in power. You don't know what APC can do. APC can do anything. If it takes killing to remain in power, they will do it. So they are blocking every cause that will make Nigerian youth to stand up to make this queue.
As APC has done, the media spokesman for Tinubu, a jury. You know, a young man like that doesn't see what he doesn't, he just comes to the public and says some very false statement and gives a different insight into situation. And as a young man, so I'm agreeing with you, BD. They would take a young person, close his mouth, and that's what you you are only reaching 0.00000% of the youths in Nigeria. You know, you have to understand, you're talking about millions of people, you know, that are just disenfranchised from their votes, from their jobs, from their education, from their livelihood, from their maturity. You're talking about millions of people. But I can guarantee you, listen to this. When people are hungry, hunger with anger, watch and see, because a lot of us are thinking, oh, everything is okay, everything is quiet, nobody they are afraid. My sister, when that hunger comes to you, and then you're still living in your father's house, and you've graduated 10 years ago, and you're living hand to mouth, there will come a point when that revolution will take place. Nobody can stop it.
Thank you, Sir George. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we want to look at the man who drew the national flag. He's gone to be with his Lord and Maker. And we'll look at Nigeria rejected at BRICS. Can you believe that? Don't go away. We'll be right back.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that we can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Shegun Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Shegun Johnson, The Final Solution. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget The Final Solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Be this world, changing your mindset.
My Isaac. I am visually impaired.
I'm a cripple. I'm crippled in both legs.
I'm a builder. If you people can able to get me a laptop or smart big phone to be cover project.
Baba Aduko from Nigerian Show of the Blind in Lagos State. All I just need now is a smartphone. I don't mind any type. Just for me to be selling my products and facilitate my job. With a smartphone with me, I can do my free traveling on the line, and I don't need to beg anybody for money again.
Business Summit and Fair 4th edition is set to digitalize fiscally challenged business owners by gifting them smartphones, laptops to enable them to do their business properly and effortlessly. Business Summit and Fair is an annual advocacy business program advocating for friendly business environment for SMEs in Nigeria and fiscally challenged business owners. Since the inception of this program, we've revived so many SMEs and taken up the streets so many beggars, inculcating in them the spirit of owning and doing their own businesses. Since after the COVID, many of them have been left behind for lack of having smartphones and laptops. Then they used to have their businesses along the road or in a marketplace. Now there's a need for them to be carried along into the e-markets, and we need to do that by gifting them smartphones and laptops. Join us this year, 21st September 2023 at Radisson Hotel Ikeja GRA as we have our annual events, digitalizing fiscally challenged business owner. It's the topic.
for this year. Be part of Business Summit.
Thanks for staying with us. The Nigerian flag, green, white, green, was chosen by the Nigerian government at independence when they asked for what Nigeria should be symbolized with. Green, white, green, and the colors are vertical in nature. And it was presented by Mr. Taiwo Akinkunmi. I'm proud to say that he went to Ibadan Grammar School, where good people go, brilliant people go. He graduated from there and presented the green, white, green flag, and it was chosen among others. Of course, he explained it as green for agriculture, white for peace, because agriculture was the most important thing in the Nigerian economy at the time. So Mr. Taiwo Akinkunmi has gone to meet his maker, and I would just want our colleagues to pour some encomiums on him before we move on. Shall we start from Bidi? You are in Nigeria. Did you miss him?
Yeah, I missed him, but I am grateful I was opportune to meet with him one-on-one. In 2014, when I started my media work, I was at Villa during the National Award.
And what happened?
Go
We can't
ahead,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
She's crying.
Oh, she's crying, and Nepal has done his worst. Yes, Sir George, how do you copy from Canada?
Well, I am thankful that one thing that I really appreciated, what's his name, President Goodluck Jonathan, is actually recognizing this man finally, because he was almost like abandoned, neglected, and rejected by the nation that he helped to, by bringing this flag. And this flag is an incredible flag, actually representing what we really were in those days. So, but finally he received that kind of recognition. But you see, the point that we're making is this: look at an icon like this, who designed this wonderful flag that represented the nation. And all through many, many years of neglect, nobody talked about him, nobody recognized him, nobody even gave him any credit to the incredible work that he did. But I am thankful that he's gone to be with the Lord. At this 87 years old, he should have stayed a little longer, but it is okay. I think he had a full, wonderful years, and he enjoyed his life finally, and then was credited with what he did. So we just pray that the Lord will continue to, uphold the family and comfort them and strengthen them at this time that they are just, mourning the loss of a great legend among us.
Mark, were you opportune to meet him one-on-one?
No,
Like
I wasn't. But I'm happy for what you're doing, Dr. Shegun and Sir George, BD. It's time we really give our legend, give these heroes of our country, recognize them when they're alive. Thank God, like George said, Jonathan did that. Jonathan was the man that brought him, gave him that national award, recognized him, and we thank God for this. Taiwo Akinkunmi was a great man. He not only designed that national flag, he also gave some input. He made some statements on it. And 1960, the 1st of October 1960, while raising up the flag, it will go a long way in the history of Nigeria as a great moment. So we really do appreciate these people that have done so much in their lifetime to put Nigeria in a positive light. Thank you, Dr. Shegun.
Thank you
our
too.
hearts are
And you are doing a great job yourself. So we must highlight you. And while you are alive, not when you are dead. Bidi, you were telling us that you met this man one on one.
Yeah, in
Yes.
2014, when I just started my media work, I was
Go ahead.
opportunity.
We can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes,
We can.
I said in 2014, when I started my media work, I was opportune to be at Villa during the National Award by President Goodluck Jonathan. And that he was awarded, he came with his daughter. I have the video and I took some pictures with him. So when I heard that the man is late, oh God, I cried. When he came that time, he was actually old because they have to hold him to come. The man did a great job for Nigeria, but it's unfortunately that one of the things he didn't live to see it actualize. In the color, he said peace and unity. But you and I know that the unity that the man saw for Nigeria, we never had it. We are just pretending that we're united, but that unity has not come and the great man has gone. And I'm calling on Nigerian government to actually come together and bury this man. This is a national burial, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to give him a national burial.
I think that resonates with all of us in this forum. If we can recognize and give that man a befitting national, colorful burial, that would be. But Sir George, quickly, why do we eulogize people who are dead? Why can't we just eulogize them while they are alive, like Americans do? When you hear an American speak of another American, you'll be wondering, why can't we just do that in Nigeria?
Well, you see, because it's basically what Bidi was just saying. We focus on the wrong things, and our attention is on the wrong things. We specialize on the wrong things, and then don't concentrate to give honor to whom honor is due when they are alive. But I think we are changing. And Bidi, there is peace in Nigeria. Only that politicians are trying to divide us. But there is actually peace in Nigeria. My nephew is getting married this month, and he's marrying a beautiful Yoruba young lady. Yes. So as a matter of fact, you can take it to the bank that this young lady is better than all others he could have married, because he went searching for so long and couldn't find any equitable and comparable mate until he came across this beautiful young lady. And now, they're tying the knots this month. There is peace in Nigeria, but we need to ignore or fire or cast away these politicians that are bringing all these divisions among us. We are one Nigeria, and we'll remain.
Okay. I think we can make it like this. There is societal peace, but not political peace. Maybe that will balance it.
That's it.
But let's go something international now. Prigozhin, is he alive or dead, Mark? Or has he resurrected? Maybe he has resurrected. Who knows? Lazarus resurrected.
Who knows? Well, you know why this is happening? Because this is not the first time Prigozhin has been in a crash, and from nowhere he raised up again. And thank God, I think is Godwin coming in? Okay, Godwin is not coming in. So yes, in 2019, listen to this, Dr. Shegun. 2019, this Russian warlord was presumed dead after a military crash happened, and 8 people on that board of that crash all died. 4 days later, in 2019, he was also in that plane. He was in that plane. But 4 days later, he reappeared alive and came on the screen, came on national TV. And, so now people are looking at that scenario playing out again. This is what is happening with this one. But interestingly, the Russian government did something very strange. They made sure they did a DNA on each of the body recovered in that flight, this last crash. But what we had again is that Prigozhin has a very, he's a killer. Let's put it that way. This is a warrior. This is what he does. So, he has a very, he thinks very fast. He thinks sharp. He knows his life is also at stake too because of what he does. So the information we got is on each flight that he goes out, he takes, he makes sure there's another follow-up flight, and there are his name he has about 2 or 3 people in that flight with his name in the list. So you wouldn't know who is Prigozhin, you know? Everybody will be guessing, Prigozhin, who's Prigozhin among all of you here now? So this is how he has been playing this very interesting movement in his life. So that's why people are doubting if probably he really died, and if it's...
But why was the hurry? Why was the hurry to get the DNA right by the Russian government?
Yes, I mean, you know why, Dr. Shegun, you're a political analyst, you know. But anyway, apart from the DNA, a lot of media houses that are trusted, authenticated media homes, CNN, BBC, I mean, media companies that would not want to ruin their reports have declared that he's dead.
Okay, let's hear from Sir George. Thank you, Mark. Sir George, did he resurrect, resuscitated, or is just a rumor?
You know, there is a saying in Ontario. The government of Ontario say, "Yours to discover." That is the acronym that way. Yours to discover.
Okay.
Yours to discover. So in essence, really, we don't know, and anything that we're seeing now might be speculation, even including Russia coming out and saying that he was in the flight. I mean, you know, they might have some reasons why they want to make sure, you know, that the world thinks he's dead or whatever the case might be. I don't know, but if you ask my own personal opinion, I honestly believe that he died. That's what I believe. But
I was about to ask BD, which one do you believe? He died or he resurrected? Which one?
I don't even know what to believe. You remember this same thing happened in 2019?
Yeah.
After 3 days, he resurfaced. Do you understand? It happened in 2019. So I don't even know what to believe. Yeah, so I don't even know what to believe again. But I think the Russian government they are suspecting that he might be alive somewhere. That is why they are calling for that DNA test. I think they are suspecting that the man might be alive.
Yes,
somewhere.
I think the suspicion and the weariness, and it may affect the power base of Putin. So the earlier they settle that one, the better for them, and it will rock the government for a long time. Looking maybe he's alive or not. I think I will go with Sir George. I would believe that they got him this time around. But what a shock it will be if he should show himself on a video. What a shock it will be. BD, I think many people will just say, I don't know what to believe. This day of digital. Well,
BD, by the way, Dr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Or Kare Shaba, BD's boyfriend from UK, said that sadly Nigeria was rejected from BRICS. So
yes, we were about to go there. Go ahead then, now that you are there.
Yeah, so I don't think Nigeria did apply because we were in a state of quandary when all this stuff was going on. I do not believe, that's what I said, I do not believe that we did apply because our connection with UK is so strong, and also with US. So, I mean, they came out and said that we did not apply, and I honestly believe that we didn't apply at this time. So I don't think that we applied and was rejected. You know, think about it. We are changing the government. We've been under the election situation for the past how long? So who would have applied? Was it Buhari that would have applied to join BRICS? You know, or our current president right now that is just trying to see whether he's coming or going. So I don't think we did apply. That's my own personal belief.
Yeah, but we have the permanent secretary of Federal Ministry of External Affairs looking into international affairs for us. I mean, with continuity. The vice president of Nigeria for now, Shetima, was asked, and he was dodging the question. And he was asked severally, and he dodged the question. So did we apply or not? Were we rejected or not? Those were the questions, and he dodged it because it will be snobbish for them to snub us. And so let's, Mark, what's your opinion on this? Did we apply?
Yes, we're following the news from the State House, and what the INEC Vice President said, Shetima, is that we didn't apply. I wonder why we didn't apply, because we, like we've always said here, Nigeria should be, in fact, one of the founding members of that organization. So, but Shetima on Friday last week said we never applied, but so far they are trying to look into ways and means by which we will now apply. So, but anyway, the world is moving on, and nobody is waiting for Nigeria. It's sad. We want to advise our government to do everything possible to be part of this moving trend, the global progressive move that is going on in the world. Nigeria should not be behind. Already, our young people are doing a lot in sports, in entertainment, in music, so it's just the policy, the politics that's lacking. You know, Nigeria is doing a lot. Nigerians are putting up a lot of effort, bringing in progress in so many angles of human endeavor. But when it comes to our politics, we are still dragging.
Okay, so let's ask from the lady. Thank you, Mark. Let's ask from the lady who lives in Nigeria. Maybe you'll know better. Did Nigeria apply or not?
The question, thank you, Dr. Shegu. The question is this: Nigeria, Vice President of Nigeria, Shetima, came out to say Nigeria did not apply. Now, my question to him: what was he doing there? He went there. He was at that event.
Yes, he was.
You understand? Yes. Because we no longer know what to believe from Nigerian government, because they, for over the years, fed us with a lot of lies. Our government are government that lies a lot. You don't even know when they're saying the truth or when they're not saying the truth. He was there. He represented President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you understand? And now there was an announcement for the countries they are inviting to come and join. Now you came out to tell us Nigeria did not apply. If Nigeria did not apply, if you don't have any intention of joining BRICS, why did you attend? I think we always...
Okay, I think the problem with the Nigerian foreign policy is that at the moment we have none. So we cannot say, oh, BRICS is in the way of our foreign policy or BRICS is not. For the past 10, 20 years, Nigeria has not been able to come out with a particular foreign policy. Gone were the days of Joseph Garba, when our foreign policy was one word: anti-apartheid. As soon as South Africa got its independence and ANC won, Nigeria has not been able to formulate another foreign policy that we could hold on to, and that has affected whether we can join a group like BRICS or not. Has Nigeria focused on West African and African issues? Yes, but is that the main foreign policy? We don't know. Right now, the federal government is being advised to sit down and give us a cogent foreign policy. So from the analyst point of view, we cannot even say it is Nigeria should apply to BRICS or not, because we don't have one. Are we going to be anti-West, or are we going to be pro-West and yet be in BRICS like Saudi Arabia, like India? We don't have a foreign policy. And maybe we use this forum to call on the Nigerian government in its own entirety to please call for men and women who could formulate a new foreign policy for the nation so that we will know where we are going. Maybe I've spoken too much, Sir George, or what will you say about the Nigerian foreign policy for now?
Well, we need one. And one of the major problems we have been having is that, we don't have that well-defined foreign policy. We're almost like a yo-yo. You know, if you move to the left, you go to the left, you move to the right. We don't have a standardized foreign policy, and that's what I'm glad you said that. We need it anyway. And there's a young man, Ayola, who said if he just said that
Prigozhin, yeah.
Prigozhin is still alive, that Putin would not be sleeping.
Many people are following the program all over the world, yes. And we will be reading what they are saying. Thank you for reading that one out.
Okay, so, but anyway, yes, we definitely need a very standardized foreign policy that we will follow, because what we have been doing is just like, like a puppet, dangling around, and it's not good for a so-called giant of Africa. We need to be the leader in this area because others will follow. But one thing about joining BRICS, we have to understand we can't just because the noise is being made. You have allied countries.
That's correct.
You have to be careful when you jump the gun, when you have allied countries that are with you, like US and Britain and all those other Western European countries. So it's not something you can just, blindly just say, oh, I'm following them. Because there might be some consequences if Nigeria just jumps the gun without thinking about what about the future ramifications of joining these BRICS, and what about the diplomatic connections that we have internationally with some of the allied countries, that are looking after us. So we have to be very careful. It's not something some of these other smaller countries can just, go ahead and join because of their positions or because of where they are.
So we have to look inwards. Who are we before we start aligning with others?
That's exactly right.
Well, Mr. Okari Shaba, writing from London or England, says that it's a sad thing that Nigeria does not have a coherent foreign policy. There's this important news that came out from South Africa. Mark, you want to bring us up to date? 73 lives were lost in a fire in faraway South Africa. Tell us more.
Yes, early morning Thursday, yesterday morning, South Africa went to another disaster. Remember the last time it was manholes exploding. Now this time it's a particular building just caught fire, and people live in that building. It's one of these high skyscrapers, one of these high
rise.
Yes. And the information we got is 7 children were in that building, and a 18-month-old child was there, and over 50 people. So in total, 73 people have been confirmed dead by the South African authority. And it's very sad. 73, yes, 73 people. So
and many injured,
and many injured. What they said was that building used to be a residential building, but somehow it turned out to become a place where thieves and criminals hang out. So maybe somebody set fire trying to smoke or something, and ignited and exploded everywhere. So that's a sad news coming from South Africa.
Just like a building collapsed in Abuja and killed, I think, 3 people. Yes, Africans must start taking serious cognizance of their buildings. Well, that's how far we can go today. It's my duty to thank you all for listening all over the world that you are listening. We normally clock at the end of the day over 10,000 who will have watched the program. So we are mindful of bringing you good news and, so far as we can, correct analysis, because we know that undergraduates and postgraduates are watching us. Thank you all the way from Toronto, Canada, Sir George, BD from the commercial city of Nigeria, Lagos, and of course, the best of them all, Massive Mark in Milan, and the crew in Milan. We know we operate on several European televisions until Wednesday when we bring you the latest again. God be with you all.
God be with you. Thank you very much. Nice.